Hi everyone, it's Callie again. I'm going to give you an update on how it's been for me with my sparkle liners. And I have to be honest with you, it's been really awful. And I don't say that because I am a wimp. It's because I've had a lot of issues and I'm going to go over them with you. But again, the reason I got aligners was because I needed to straighten out my bottom teeth here. And I couldn't get regular braces because I have veneers on my two top teeth. So had I been a candidate for regular braces, I would have gotten regular braces, but this was my only option. So a couple of things that have been going on with these aligners. If you can see in my mouth, see how it's red? It's really, really raw, okay? There's a few reasons for that. One reason is that I have like these brackets inside here and they stick out, I think, a little bit too much. I don't think it's necessary. Now this one on inside did fall off and I had to get it replaced. And the person that replaced it actually put it a little bit further in and it's not as sharp as this one up here. And I don't know why they didn't just replace both, but that's a whole nother issue. So the reason that this part of my mouth is raw is because these aligners that you have some wax on here. These aligners that you use and you rotate them out every 10 days. Well, I feel like they don't really take a lot of time detailing the edges because the edges, if you can kind of see, they kind of, let's see if I can get a good angle. They kind of have like a little lip on them. And that might seem like not a big deal, but when it's your mouth, any little tiny thing is a big deal. So that and the little places that I have to connect my rubber bands from the inside to this notch on here. This notch is, if you could see it, let me try to focus. It is really sharp, okay? I have two of them. See that? I have to put that in my mouth and it tears my mouth. Well, I did learn something and that's what I'm going to share with you. So I got so frustrated because they were hurting so much that I had to start doing things on my own. So the first thing that I do when I get a new one with this sharp piece is I take a file and I file it down. I file down that sharp piece. I just get that corner off because, like I said, everything in my mouth, like compared to the rest of your body, you feel it extra. You feel it extra hard. You feel it extra bad. So I'm going to start taking those lips. I'm going to soften them because honestly, like my mouth, I can't handle it anymore. And I remember telling them that I was having trouble with it. And they were like, oh, you can use wax. Well, let me just tell you, you can't put wax on your whole entire mouth. You just can't. And I feel like a little bit like dismissed because when I mentioned it and I was telling him like that it's painful, I feel like he's like, oh, there's only 5 more weeks. And I was like, yeah, because you're not living with this. you know, they should look and see. There's like, when I put this in my teeth, there is a tiny little gap between my teeth and this aligner. And the problem with that, I'm going to tell you, because this is like a rant. Problem with that is that when you're talking with speech, you're always touching a part of your mouth. And when there's a gap and plastic in your mouth, it's like tearing. So the rubber bands that go here, every time I'm talking, my tongue is literally scraping on those rubber bands. I don't know why they think that that's okay, but it's not. So they should have found a different way. So I'm going to take those edges off because honestly, there's no part of that that's helping shape my teeth. So I am just taking off. So you can see that really clear now. You see that? I'm going to take off that really sharp piece. I'm going to show you what it looks like when I put it back in. Okay, you can kind of see it now. Because I can't stand it. It's so bad. You can see it now. It's a little bit better than I showed you a second ago. I'm going to do that on both sides. And I need to remember to do this with the next one. Like I said, it's every 10 days. So this one, I had to go to work, so I didn't have time to like prepare it, which I should have just opened it and prepared it ahead of time. I don't know why I didn't think of that. But at any rate, I had to put it in at work, and it ended up tearing through my mouth because I do a lot of talking at work, like with my coworkers, on the phone, with parents, and so I do a lot of talking. So I'm not just sitting there not talking to anyone. I do a lot of talking. So it's really not good for me. Let's see if I can get that. Sure. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get all those sides kind of smoothed out. To be honest with you, at this point, I have to do something because it's so uncomfortable. It's mostly the inside, except that you can see what the inside, I have to say, is worse than the front, even though you can see the damage it's done on the inside of my mouth, on the lips, so the outside of the liner, the inside is worse, I'm telling you. So, lesson here is that I'm going to smooth my edges down. This isn't recommended by them. Trust me. They would have told me this. But I have to smooth it out. I just can't. I can't deal with it. I feel like they should have done this. You know? They should have done this to them. It's like, you know what it looks like when I look at it up close and I think of that lip? You know when you're making like cookies and you put the cookie cutter down and then sometimes there's like extra film that didn't get all the way cut? That's what it's like. It's terrible. So my recommendation for when you have this situation is to smooth it out. Smooth it out for yourself because, like I said, it is, oh my God, it's so bad. I do not recommend aligners, by the way. If you can get braces, get braces. Okay, so that's my lesson for today. I'm sorry it took me so long to get back on here and give you an update. I've just been really busy, but see this sharp thing? I'm telling you, every little sharp thing is really bad. But if you're wearing aligners, try all these little tips especially if they're like tearing through your mouth like me. I didn't want to delay my treatment. I didn't want to complain too much because I really just need to get this next step done, which is the finishing the rubber bands from the inside. So I wasn't going to really complain too much because I didn't want them to like send back my aligners and then I had to wait even longer because he had told me that the orthodontist had told me, okay, I'm going to tell you something. So I went in one day because my daughter had a bracket fall off, and he went to see me, like he came to see me in the waiting room, and he's like, oh, how's things going? And I'm like, oh, well, you know, it's going. And then he was like, well, I said, it's just, this is when I first got him. I said, it's just really a pain to take them in and out. Because if you're like me, like you have this much crowding, it's not easy to get it out. It's easy to put it in, but it's not easy to get it out. So he was like, oh, you're not at the point yet where you're like pulling it in and out so easily. And I'm like, huh, no, I'm not. So plus I don't want to have to do that in front of people. I just think it's like, it's not cool. So it just makes me feel awkward. People are watching me. So he asked me, I said it wasn't feeling that good. And he was like, oh, you don't just pull them in and out? See this here? I'm just getting those, I'm just like doing a tiny bit, just enough so that it's not like stabbing sharp. You might be watching this and you might be thinking to yourself, I didn't have any problems like that. Well, that's good if you didn't. But for some reason, the ones that I've been given, some of them are worse than others. And trust me, this isn't a cheap one. These are not cheap. This isn't like the Smile company where you mail it in and get it by yourself. This is the orthodontist. So I'm just, yeah, I can still feel. I really hope this works because, oh my gosh, my mouth is so, it's like it can't take it anymore. Oh, so he said to me, I said, well, I have to take them out for like 2 hours in the morning. And he's like, what? For your coffee? And I'm like, well, yeah, because I'm drinking my coffee. And I thought he would just say that's fine because originally they said they could be out for like 2 to 4 hours a day. And I told him it took me 2 hours. And he's like, oh, well, it'll just delay treatment, but that's all. It's no big deal. I'm like, huh, well, that is a big deal. And by the way, I thought that you guys said I could have them out 2 hours a day. I sleep with them in my mouth. Oh my gosh, you know. Okay, so I'll give you an update in a couple weeks. I'm hoping that the filing helped. And just a reminder, look at this. See that? That is a stab and a cut from those. This too. See that? All of that is not anything that I have, like, I don't have like any canker sores or anything weird. Those are all, that is all from the aligners. So anyway, give me comments if you can. I know nobody watches this really, but if somebody watches this and they're like, oh, I tried this and it worked really well, aside from putting wax in your entire mouth, then let me know. Comment and let me know. And I wish you well on your journey with your aligners because I know it's not an easy thing. And take good care.